What up, unicorns? Eric Abram here, and welcome to another video. In today's video, we're going to talk about a very interesting topic. What is that? What is that? The topic today is about UX for graphic designers. I bet you guys are like, oh my God, have I already seen this before? Have you already talked about this? No, I'm specifically talking now to graphic designers and how graphic designers can become exceptional UX designers and exceptional UI designers. I'm also going to be talking about my experience, how I got started, and where I came from. As you all know, I was a graphic designer for about 9 or 10 years, and I wanted to share with you guys some of the things that you can do to make the transitions and some of the things you're probably already doing to make this transition. So, all right, guys, let's get into the video and let's talk about it. So as a graphic designer, we possess a lot of skills, a lot of things that we learned over the years of working for this company and that company. We learned about how to, visually tell a story. We learned about composition, typography, and understanding how to evoke emotion through our design. We play a crucial role in making delightful, experiences through digital media, web design, or print media, whatever. We've done all those different types of things. And so making that switch from being a graphic designer to a UX designer, it's gonna feel sort of seamless. It's gonna feel pretty good. It's gonna feel like some of the things that you were doing as a UX designer, if you've already done as a graphic designer, so you're like, oh, this is very familiar territory. You're going to excel pretty quickly. I will say that's probably going to be a thing. So once you incorporate UX principles into the design principles that you already know, you are going to be able to create the best experiences for your users if you apply those principles. Now, I bet you're wondering, how might I get started, making a transition from graphic designer to UX designer, kind of like how I did? Well, let me share my journey with you just a little bit. I've already done a complete video on this, but I'll share it a little bit right now. So I was a graphic designer for about 9 or 10 years. I really didn't like it, got tired of doing it. I wanted to make a transition from graphic design to UX. I actually started a boot camp called Springboard. And in that boot camp, I was about 3 or 4 months into the boot camp. I actually applied for a job as a UI designer working at a fintech company. Lo and behold, I got the job as a UI designer at the fintech company, designing user interfaces and things like that. So that's how I made the transition. I took kind of like a baby step. I went from graphic designer to UI designer to UX designer, senior UX designer. Now I'm a lead UX designer at a big fintech company. So it can be done. Let's let you guys know it can be done. So don't ever get discouraged and think like, oh, I can't do it. You actually can. You actually have the skill set to make it happen. During that time working as a UI designer, I was able to apply some of the things that I learned from college, some of the things that I learned from the Springboard Bootcamp into this role. And also I was going to a lot of meetups. I was connecting with people on LinkedIn. I was bugging my manager and the other designers around me to really get more into the weeds of UX, because that was the direction I wanted to go in. So I would ask them hey, let me lead a stand-up, or let me present this, or let me take a stab at this design or this design, versus just me getting a handoff from them saying here's a wireframe, go make it look good. I was asking let me do some sketches, let me do some wireframing, let me present to you an experience that I think could work. And so I did a lot of that, and then I transitioned from being a UI designer to a UX designer. I know a lot of you are like, aren't they kind of the same thing? Aren't they kind of similar? I will say the UX designer can do the role of a UI designer, but a UI designer doesn't necessarily do the role of a UX designer. I know, mind-boggling and confusing, but you need to have skills in both. You need to have skills in UI design, visual design, graphic design, and also the UX design, the user research, the psychology principles, the science and the data, but also behind it. I just went over to the side like this. So you need to have all those in place to become what they call a full stack designer, meaning that you can do the UI design, you can do the UX design, you can also do the user research if you need to. If you don't have a researcher, maybe you can do some research in a pinch. Whatever you want to do, you can do that. So having a set of design skills already available to you from your past experiences working as a graphic designer will just help you fast track. You like that? Fast track into being a UX designer. I know a lot of you are like, yo, that's not possible. Look, it might work for some, it might not work for some. I'm not saying that it works for everyone, but I'm just saying from my experience and talking to other people who have come from the graphic design world, this is sort of a similar thing that they kind of seen as well, that I seen, like, hey, we already know how to do all these things. We come to the UX side, we already have some of those things lined up. We already understand all these things. And so coming over to here, the space, the only tricky part is understanding the data part, the user research part, the talking to users part. Those are the skills that we have to develop over the years as well. So as a graphic designer, I want to share with you a few things that can help you make this transition. And I want you to focus on these key areas because these things are going to help you in the end. So as a graphic designer, the things you need to focus on are going to be user research, information architecture, usability testing, and also collaborative skills. I bet you're like, well, duh. No, collaborative skills. I am dead serious on this. This is one of the things that will make or break your career, is being able to work cross-functionally, meaning that you can collaborate with other lines of business, other people, other resources around you to help you solve a particular problem. For example, I'm working on a particular project. Let's say I'm working on a website. I might want to get my product partners involved, of course, to understand business requirements and why we're making this website. I want to get my legal team involved to make sure that the content that we're making is up to snuff and doesn't, impose like a legal challenge. Content designers to help me write the content, my developers to help me build the website, my marketing team to make sure that we're using particular brand standards going forward, and the design systems team to make sure that the components that we're using are from the kit, it's reusable. If there's something that we don't have within the kit, we can make that, we can present that to the design system team, they can incorporate it. So you're working with all these different people, and also your top business stakeholders, like the people who are like executives and directors. You can also bring them in as well to help provide feedback on the direction of the design. Sometimes you can't only just depend on your product partners to just say like, hey, this looks good, let's go forward. They also have to get that approved from their boss and their boss to make sure like, hey, the design direction that we're going in, cool, great. But the business direction, we might want to tweak it. We might want to understand, okay, why are we doing this? Who is this for? What we're trying to target? What is the outcome? What is the KPI? What is the metric? What is the North Star, right? So you need to have all those things in place, and you're gonna be working with a lot of different people. You're not gonna be working in a silo. You're not gonna be working alone all the time. You're gonna be working alone if like you're trying to figure out like a different design or something like that. You want to do some sketches, but at the end of the day, you can collaborate and work with your partners, meaning your other fellow UXers, to help you solve a particular problem. Let's say you're stuck on like this one particular app or website, and you're like, man, how do I do this? How do I do that? You've done all the research, you looked at other design patterns, but there's somebody on the team that's already done this before at another job, and they can come in and like, look, we did this, and this. Boom. Now you can streamline the process and you're able to actually solve this problem quickly. So as you can see, incorporating UX principles into design process and principles, things that you've learned as a graphic designer, it can really allow you to create some really good and meaningful and delightful and beautiful user experiences. At the end of the day, you need to make sure that, one, your users don't fail in your designs. Make sure you map out all the different paths that a user might be able to go to or go through. So therefore you can kind of predict the future wise, like, okay, if a user does this, clicks on this, they're gonna be taken to this, maybe it's an error screen, maybe it's a success mode or whatever. You need to also design those parts too. And that goes into the psychology principles of it all, of like giving your users some sort of feedback within your application, so they don't feel like it's their fault. They don't feel stuck or blocked or hindered, so they don't want to click out of your experience, right? Or click out of your app. So with all that said, when you're making this decision on whether or not you want to be a UX designer or UX designer, you got to figure out where you're going to learn all this stuff. Where are you going to go, right? How are you going to do this? What resources, what resources are around me to help me get started? For me, it was Springboard. What's up, unicorns? Are you ready to take the next step in your UX design career? Well, look no further. I introduced to you Springboard. Springboard is offering an introduction to UI UX course right now for $99. Yes, get ready to transform your career, take the next step on your UX journey. In just 4 weeks, part-time, you'll immerse yourself in the world of UI UX, if I like to call it just user experience. You'll be learning the tools and techniques used by top designers like myself. And the best part is you'll have 4 one-on-one meetings with your UX mentor, plus a career coaching session. Hey, put your skills into action, guys. This course is designed to provide you with real-world experience. You'll work on end-to-end design projects, build your portfolio, and also gain valuable practical knowledge using industry standard tools like Sketch and Figma. Personally, I like Figma. But wait, there's more. So this course was originally $349, but for a limited time only, they have lowered it to $99. But because you are an Ugly Unicorn subscriber, an Ugly Unicorns follower and listener, you will get an additional $10 off when you use the link in the description below, or even scan the QR code. You will get the $10 off, bringing the course down to just what? $89. Yes, $89, a $10 savings. You guys are welcome. So, are you ready to embark on the UX journey? Click the link below or scan the QR code to get started. I look forward to seeing you guys in the course. All right, guys, that's the video. Really hope you liked it. Hopefully hope you learned something about, making the transition and how to go about doing it. If you have any questions about, anything, hit me up on uglyunicorns.com. You can book a session and go there. Also, if you want to actually sign up for a real Springboard course, you'll get the $1,000 off as well if you use my code uglyunicornssb1000. I think that's the code. I'll make sure I put it on the screen. But just make sure that you find the right resources around you, right courses, mentors, whatever, to really help you on your journey from being graphic designer to UX designer. All right, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching the video. You all have been amazing, and I appreciate everything that you have done. Just make sure you just like the video. Just click that. It doesn't cost you anything. Just like the video. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. It will help me as a channel going forward. All right, guys, like I always say, don't just be a unicorn.